Bacon. Bacon is the most powerful food marketing tool ever created. Restaurants discovered in the 1980s that adding bacon to any item on the menu increased sales regardless of what the item was. Bacon milkshakes sold, bacon donuts sold, bacon on salad sold. The United States produces over 2 billion pounds of bacon per year and still imports more. Bacon was not always a breakfast food. A marketing campaign in the 1920s paid doctors to recommend hearty breakfasts and specifically mentioned bacon. One campaign over 100 years ago permanently changed what an entire country eats every morning.
Hot dog. The hot dog was invented at a baseball game and nobody agrees on which one. Multiple vendors at different ballparks in the 1890s claim credit. What everyone agrees on is that the name came from a cartoon. In 1906, a cartoonist drew a dachshund sausage in a bun at a New York Giants game and labeled it a hot dog. The drawing spread everywhere. The name stuck permanently. Americans eat 20 billion hot dogs per year. 7 billion of those are eaten between Memorial Day and Labor Day alone.
Pepperoni. Pepperoni is the most popular pizza topping in America, and it doesn't exist in Italy. Italian Americans invented it in New York in the early 1900s. If you order pepperoni pizza in Italy today, you will receive a pizza topped with bell peppers. Pepperoni means bell pepper in Italian. Americans took the word, changed the spelling, invented a completely new sausage, and put it on 36% of all pizzas sold in the United States every single year. Italy has never acknowledged this as their product. Salami. The white coating on salami is penicillin, the same compound used in antibiotics. You've been eating medicine on your charcuterie board this whole time. Salami requires 0 cooking and 0 refrigeration because fermentation preserves it naturally. Roman soldiers carried it on marches 2,000 years ago for exactly this reason. Italy has over 300 officially recognized varieties. Americans eat more salami than any country outside Europe, and most couldn't name a single type beyond the one on their pizza. Chorizo. There are 2 completely different foods both called chorizo, and they share almost nothing except the name. Spanish chorizo is cured, dried, and ready to eat straight from the package. Mexican chorizo is raw, loose ground meat that must be cooked before eating. Ordering one while expecting the other is a guaranteed disaster. Spanish chorizo gets its red color from smoked paprika. Mexican chorizo gets its red color from dried chili peppers. Same name, different continent, completely different food. Bratwursts. Germany takes bratwurst seriously enough to have legal regulations defining exactly what it can contain. The first written record appears in Nuremberg in 1313, making it over 700 years old. Nuremberg bratwursts can only be legally produced within the city walls of Nuremberg. Germans eat over 800 million bratwursts per year. At every German football match, bratwurst outsells every other food item combined. A sausage has more legal protection in Germany than most intellectual property. Prosciutto. Prosciutto requires exactly 2 ingredients, pork and salt, nothing else. The leg is rubbed with sea salt and hung to cure for anywhere between 12 and 36 months. No smoking, no cooking, no additional preservation, just salt, time, and controlled air. Parma prosciutto carries protected designation of origin status, meaning it can only be produced in one specific region of Italy. A single aged leg can cost over $500. The most expensive ones are aged longer than most people's relationships. Kielbasa. Kielbasa simply means sausage in Polish. Every sausage in Poland is technically a kielbasa. When Polish immigrants arrived in America in the late 1800s, they brought their sausage traditions with them. American supermarkets eventually started selling one specific smoked variety and labeled it kielbasa, renaming an entire cuisine after a single word. Poland has hundreds of regional varieties with protected status. Americans know exactly one of them and consider it the definitive version. Poland has been quietly offended by this for decades. Mortadella. Mortadella is the original bologna. The American bologna sandwich that millions of children grew up eating is a direct descendant of mortadella from the Italian city of Bologna. Italian mortadella contains pistachios and chunks of fat in smooth pink meat. American processors removed everything interesting and created a cheaper, blander version, then named it after the city. Bologna, Italy was so unhappy about this that authentic Italian mortadella now carries protected status under European law. The city's name became synonymous with cheap processed meat in America. Bologna has never forgiven this.